Greetings, greetings, greetings. You are now tuned into the vault. Trust Christian own, nothing control everything. Just want to thank you for tuning in live, listening to replay. Always appreciate everybody that tunes in live, listening to replay. We got a special episode today with Dr. Bay coming your way. Definitely want to thank him for coming through, and just want to thank you all too for coming through and making it a point to hear what we have to say. Doing our best to bring some epic information your way. And so, wanted to have a conversation today with Dr. Bay about black land ownership over the past 250 years in the United States. And this is a clarion call for the ones that call themselves black and actually understanding that the overall culture, whether it looks good on social media or not, has less land ownership than 50 years ago. And so for that reason, we wanted to do an episode to talk about this today because this seems as though it's a hard topic for people to grasp. And we actually encountered some trustees over the past 24 hours that could almost look neglectful. And that's why we wanted to do this episode, because we see that sometimes, oh man, not knowing how to deal with the assets is the problem. So who better to do an episode with than Dr. Bay, and somebody that was in estate planning, somebody that can speak from experience. So we're here, Dr. Bay. Let's talk about it. How you doing today?
I'm doing great and getting greater just like you.
Thank you, Dr. Bay. Appreciate that big time. Appreciate it big time. So you heard the topic, Dr. Bay. We're talking about black land ownership over the past 250 years, and we'd love to hear your thought process towards how the administration of the estates of this particular group over the past 250 years has shown up. And if you even would like to share, you can also share how did that happen or why it happened. You know, they kind of are answering the same question, but why did that happen?
Okay, the biggest change has happened, truthfully, in the last 100 years. If you go back to the teens and the 20s, 1920s, and 30s, African Americans owned over 16 million acres of land. Today, they own less than 1 million, and is losing them fast to foreclosure. Yes, there is a cause and an effect. And the cause is a cause that most people have no idea about because they do not understand core energy, and that anytime you join anything that is anti-you at its core, you become anti-yourself. It's interesting that back in those days, we owned all kinds of businesses, and what we've done is honored the people and joined sides with the people that has destroyed our businesses for us.
Oh,
Okay, want me to give you some examples? One
yes.
of the most honored Americans that we considered colored back then, or Negro back then, and then it was the Negro League. It was a well organized, strong business, and was going past the major leagues as we know it beyond belief. But one of us, and then several of us, joined them. And the one that joined us is Jackie Robinson. And almost everyone in America that knows anything about sports knows something about Jackie Robinson, and all of us think that he done something great, and he did for them. He destroyed the strongest ongoing business in America that was for us. So us joining and wanting to join and wanting to become a part of something that is anti us has a core energy that turns you anti yourself. The biggest thing, though, here in America, if you understand that back in the 20s, about 90% of us got married, stayed married. Now we that don't get married, and if we do get married, don't stay married. Why? Because we joined something that is anti us. The businesses that we own, when I was coming up, I remember when I came to Chicago, we owned 3 life insurance companies. Today, we own 9 in Chicago.
Oh, 9 or 0 or 0?
None. We do not own one. Back then we owned Metropolitan Assurance, we owned Supreme, and Mammoth. Today we own neither one of them. But that's not just true in Chicago, that's true pretty much all over the country. Whether you're talking about the insurance companies we owned in Tennessee or Georgia and so forth and on. And so, why? Because we joined something that was anti-us at its core. The most honored one of us in the world, especially in our world, is Martin Luther King, and he led us into joining things that were anti-us. Doing something that is against us, marching. And during this marching, what did we march to and for? We marched to get a right to sit down and eat and do the things in their businesses, not in ours. And so the stores and the restaurants and the things we own, we lost. Because we were doing things that were anti-us. It's interesting that on my 31st birthday, Dr. King and I used to have a lot of discussions when we met each other. And he and I and another Reverend called Reverend Joseph Jackson, and there were other ones I could name, but me and Reverend Joseph Jackson both realized how wrong what he was doing was. And we told him that he's marching us and leading us into a burning house. And on my 31st birthday, he called me and agreed that he was going to have to stop doing this because what he was doing was destroying us. And so,
Do you think it's beyond repair? I mean, we're definitely 50 years past that. Do you think it's beyond repair?
no, that's why I put together the creation and conservation of wealth, so
All
that
right.
we can join something with a core that is pro us and not anti us.
Okay, so let's just kind of talk about it and break it down. This is obviously an elephant that we have to eat. And so when we have to eat an elephant, we got to eat it in small bite-sized pieces. So in this particular case, Dr. Bay, some people say, okay, it's the land, we don't have the land ownership. We don't have the knowledge base. You're telling us that,
Well, I'm talking about what caused it
right.
and what
So then you're saying
you
that,
gotta deal with a creative spirit. And one of the major, there are 11 creative spirits, and one of the major ones is cause and effect. Because we've done certain things, and we got to know what those things we've done is, because we've done that, it's having the effects that we don't want. We need to turn around and start doing the things we need to do to cause the effects that we do want. And that's why I put together the program that I put together.
It's interesting, Dr. Bay, that you say, oh, it's a cause and effect, and some people have to face the
I'm not
reality.
saying it is. Everything is the cause and effect.
Right, right. So in this particular case, Dr. Bay, let's just go ahead and keep it very, very simple for the individual. So you're saying that people have unified, which is the cause, with things that are anti themselves. And so we're really thankful, Dr. Bay, that you pointed this out to us, that people have unified with things that are anti themselves. Sometimes people say, okay, I, I, okay, he's telling me this. I'm aware of it now. I'm aware of a few different things that I've unified with that are anti myself. So then the question is Dr. Bay, are those things okay? So some people will argue or say to you, Dr. Bay, okay, you're saying that we fought, quote unquote, the culture. They fought, they marched, not fought, definitely didn't fight. They marched and they prayed and got beat up and protested so they could spend their money and sit at other cultures' businesses. And so what we're asking you now is what will be the cause to get out of that outside of not unifying with it anymore? Because once you stop unifying it, you use the nine energy, you release it. But we have to fill that space with something else. So what do we fill it with?
With what will unify us and what will give us what we want. And that's why we're a private organization. You have to be a member for me to go into all of that with
Okay,
you.
good, good, good.
But
Okay, so you do. So there. We have to unify with something. Okay, so now talk to me, Dr. Bay. I know you have a very interesting mindset, but just be honest. You've seen the lay of the land. You see that a lot of the culture doesn't have business acumen. So I get that you have a one-stop shop. They can learn how to be a business owner and everything else. But point being is, they want to know if I am gonna, you know, so what are you saying, Dr. Bay? I'm gonna stop eating food? No, they can't just stop eating food. What are you saying? You gotta stop working a job? No, you don't just stop working a job.
we set up all of that, everything that is necessary to make them the wisest with the accurate knowledge, because you can't do a thing if you don't know how to do it and don't even know that you need to do it. How to become the wisest, then how to become the happiest by understanding yourself, everybody else, knowing why you feel and act the way you do, how to become the healthiest. We comb the globe to find out who lives the longest and what consumption and nutrition that they have consumed that cause them to live the longest and whether they do. And that includes diet and exercise, but most of all, it includes your thoughts and what you must think in order to, in all of these cases, because it is your thoughts and your subsequent action that is creating your world. So that is what I'm totally about. So
Okay, Dr. Bay, so are you. I mean, it's like we can go all over the place with these conversations. I do my best to stay focused. The fact is that the blacks in the United States have, whether they've been intentionally not educated to retain land ownership, to be responsible with land ownership, and they've lost that land ownership through lack of succession. We talk about that here on the vault. We can keep it very, very simple. We don't need to get too detailed here about them saving themselves. You guys could have saved yourselves,
but that's
ladies.
the key. If you don't want to talk about the key, why talk about it?
Well, Dr. Bay, because it's not just one key that opens the door. You got multiple keys.
No, it isn't.
Okay.
It's one key that makes you wiser. You gotta have the accurate, demonstrable wisdom first. And wisdom is accurate knowledge being applied. That causes wisdom. Because that
Okay.
causes you to know and not and be able to demonstrate and show so you can grow in the righteous way.
Hey,
Then, because without it, you can't do it. How can you do something you don't know how to do? Never heard of.
I think
And,
that's.
and,
I
and
think
most
Dr.
of
Bay. I
all,
think. I think you're
what you,
actually at the top of
and
where.
most of all, what you're doing wrong is what you think is right.
Well, you're talking about people that are in that position of ignorance right now, but there are people that are
Absolutely. And so
that,
the key is we got to get them out of it.
okay, and so we do that through going over it right now, which is actually not just talking about the problem, but going over solutions as well. And some people would say, well, it's not just one solution, Dr. Bay, and that's fair. It
James,
it may not be one solution, ladies and gentlemen, but we will say there is levels to it. There's levels to it. There's
absolutely.
when you guys want to sit here and say, "Oh man, trust Christian. Everybody can't own a business." It's like the saddest thing to hear black people say, "Oh,
Well, you
everybody
start
can't."
out with loving yourself and doing what's necessary to love yourself to do everything else. And most of us is doing what is necessary to destroy ourselves.
So, Dr. Babe, we'll just go ahead and start it out right there. If you say it's about loving yourselves, and we're gonna talk to people on the line here and say, ladies and gentlemen, we've been impacted with Dr. Babe because a lot of y'all don't want to hear y'all accidents. Yo, trust Christian, you finally said it in the public. The truth is, you don't know what your reason for being on planet Earth is. You don't know what your purpose
Absolutely.
is on planet Earth. How are you going to know that if you don't even know if you're an accident or if you were born on purpose? Now, some people might take that the wrong way, like, "Oh, trust Christian, you know, I don't want to believe that." Or some people can admit it and say, "You know what? My parents, they never shared with me what my reason for being was because I didn't know. They didn't share with me what my purpose was because they didn't know." And so what we're sharing with you all is for some of y'all that's not gonna have an ego and can understand the spiritual side of it and understand there's more to life than just what we see in front of ourselves. And they understand that there is a understanding that has to come from the inside. They're seeking the kingdom first and getting their answers, not seeking a book. And we understand that. So we just want to go ahead and share that with the brothers and sisters that are listening that say, "Oh, trust Christian, man, I don't know, man, I'm lost in the sauce. I'm out here spinning my wheels. I'm out here spinning around." First of all, you working for somebody else. How do you how just continue to ponder on that. You're working for someone else. You're not saying I'm working for my last name because you don't know your reason for being. If you knew your reason for being, what you call God or the Lord would bless you. Why would you not be blessed if you're doing what you're supposed to be doing here? Oh, trust Christian. That's why trust Christian still do the vote here. That's why we still do the vote. Because we know we have access to people like a Dr. Bay. And we know that we have people that are listening to the podcast that are of African indigenous descent. And they reach out and they come behind from the podcast and they come over and they meet Trust Christian in the Vote. They come over and they meet Dr. Bay. And they say, yes, I understand when somebody says somebody from our culture that they're from a specific place and they have specific piece of information. I understand that. I get it. What was funny though, Dr. Bay, I'll share this much to you. This is a side note in the middle of our conversation here, because we can have those conversations. It was funny, Dr. Bay. I was sitting in front of someone the other day, talking to them, and I saw that they didn't have the above average intelligence. Now, when you all learn what you need to learn, what you need to learn from Dr. Bay, you're going to learn that certain people have above average intelligence. This is just the reality of life. This is the vibrations in the world. This is the frequency in the world. Some people are going to say, "Oh no, that can't be true. Somebody could break through." How you going to break through? You don't have the energies. We're not saying you can't, but you got to know how to break through the energies because it's energies.
Absolutely.
All the energies aren't the same, ladies and gentlemen. So we're gonna talk about it. Let's talk about. Oh yeah, I want to talk about the zodiac and some birds and some animals. But you're not talking about the energies and the elements. But y'all be sitting here wearing gold. But y'all be sitting here wearing silver. Y'all sitting here utilizing magnets to communicate. But you don't want to talk about the energy. You want to talk about the sky and some. So you know the sky. It tells you who you are. But do you got gold in your body? Do you have silver in your body? Do you know what the alchemical is of your blood? How many people know that? So we were sitting in front of somebody and they didn't have above average intelligence, and we had to realize Dr. Bates told us they don't know that they don't know. So we were wondering, why is this person doing what they were doing? And then we started analyzing some things. And granted, now you don't know everything. That's something, Dr. Bay, I will say, is if somebody gets their hands on the information, it might make them think they're a know-it-all, but they're not a know-it-all, because even if you get in front of somebody, if you don't, there's always more to them than what you see and what you're aware of. But you can gain a heavy awareness or a big awareness of somebody's personality or energies, or in their energies, truthfully. So it's funny, we were sitting in front of them, we were like, man, this person don't have above average intelligence, man, and that's why they wasn't grasping the concepts. Yeah, I was sitting there, oh man, why doesn't this person grasp the concept? Why doesn't this person do this? Why doesn't this person do that? Just like Dr. Bay said, how you gonna love other people if you don't love yourself? Once you love yourself, then you can love the fact that, guess what? Other people just don't know. They don't have the information you have. We're all operating at different levels of consciousness. That's why Trust Christian does the podcast. It's not, oh, Trust Christian, you want to be this way, you want to be that way. Last time we checked, we the ones actually bringing forth the leader. We don't have a problem with bringing forth the leader. We understand that there's a team. See, when you love yourself, you understand that it didn't take one. You loved yourself so much, but it took two people to love each other in that moment to get you here. So you understand, okay, it takes team, it takes others. It takes love for others. Oh man, you're not supposed to disagree with people you love. That's not accurate. You can disagree with people you love. Oh man, Trust Christian, I heard it for years. Oh man, black people, man, they don't like working together. Well, when are you going to overcome that state of consciousness? When are you going to get over the disagreements? That's the question. That's what it comes down to. So you can get out of your feelings and you can get into the true thought process of why you're here. You're here to steward assets. The black culture has been neglectful towards assets. A job is a liability. Oh no, don't say that, Trust Christian. A house is a liability if you don't own it. And then how is it not a liability? Trust Christian, we're going to talk about it. We're going to keep going with it. How is a house not a liability if you own it, but if you don't pay the property tax, they can put a lien on it and take it within 12 to 14 to 16 to 18 months? How is that an asset, ladies and gentlemen? See, y'all don't want to talk about the fact that there's active assets and passive assets. So the active assets that are the ones that are paying you money. The passive asset is just that. You might as well say you got diamonds. You might as well say you got gold. But how many people are saying that? How many people are comparing the fact that they're buying a house on a mortgage as opposed to buying diamonds, instead of buying gold, instead of buying silver? But they want to talk about buying a house on a loan with a mortgage. This is the promotion. But you could pull equity out of it, Trust Christian, in the vault. That's where we at with it. You can pull out the false equity that you didn't really pay off the full mortgage yet. We had somebody tell us the other day, oh yeah, I don't want to waste money putting it into a house. You sound archaic. We're going to go ahead and bust it down real quick. First of all, what do you own? You don't ever own the house. You don't really ever own the car. What do you own? Do you own your body? Dr. Bay, do we own our bodies?
I would say we do, but we don't know we do.
First
Or
of all,
don't like we do anyway.
anything you
Because
own,
it is our thought, but
it-
more so our subsequent action that is creating our world.
correct. But it's at the same time, somebody has shared some information with us. Oh yeah, you gotta own a house. You gotta own a car. What do you own? What do you own in this life? You're only a steward. And the longer we dodge that bullet and try to do what you say, unifying what the Caucasians said, oh yeah, you can own people. You can't own people. And that's why they stopped doing it. Because they figured it out. You can't own people. You can't own a human spirit. You think they wasn't having a bunch of riots and stuff back then? Y'all know about Nat Turner. Y'all think the Caucasians gonna share with y'all all the information? Oh yeah, we were having a bunch of riots, so that's why they're not gonna tell us that we stopped because we had riots, because we were rebelling. Your ancestors were rebelling, so they understood it's not profitable. They also understood it wasn't humane. They also understood, you know what? Let's create a system, and let's have a system to where people volunteer to be a part of the American system as a citizen, then they can work for the system. But if they don't, they can maintain private ownership. They can maintain their privacy. They could be private people. What are we talking about here, ladies and gentlemen? Trust Christian, we got to do this episode. Why? It's the wake up call. It's the clarion call. What are we talking about? If you focused on ownership, we already know what you're doing. You unifying with something that's not even true. You unifying with a lie. I'ma own the house. I'ma own the car. You don't even own your body. You don't own the body. You're a steward of your body. And that's why Dr. Bay's so critical, because he's sharing with you that it's not about ownership. It's about stewardship. You want to steward your mind. You want to steward your body. You want to be a steward. But you got our people sitting out here talking about, oh man, Trust Christian, I can't get over myself, man. I just got to keep calling us black. I just got to keep calling us these slave names because I don't want to call us the proper name because I don't want to educate myself. I want to speak ignorant. Okay, well, go ahead. But for the rest of y'all, do y'all understand, oh, Trust Christian, we're not here to, be down on anybody. We're here to show love. What do you mean? Dr. Bay, we're bringing them forth. This is somebody that is one of a few people on planet Earth. This is somebody that, if y'all want to sit here and say, oh yeah, I'm teaching my kids the right stuff. So where is the first university created at in the world? Do you know that? Or that don't matter? But for some reason, you trying to get your kid to go to college, to go to a PWC. Are you trying to get them to go to HBCU? And not only that, let's not go there about, oh, HBCU. We're very comfortable with HBCU. We're very comfortable with that term. But what we do want to address, where was the first universities in the world? Not the ones that we see right now. Not the ones that people go to now. There's nothing wrong with the ones right now. We're not against those. We're not going to talk about that publicly. But what we are going to ask is, where was the originals at? Oh, I don't know where those are at, Trust Christian and Vault. Right. Our ancestors, they created those. Are you aware of that? That energy, that information is running through your veins. But you got to activate that. Y'all want to listen to the Caucasians. Oh man, you got 22 strand DNA, man. 22 strand DNA going up your body. We done heard everything come from the Caucasians. Oh man, the Caucasian tell you this. They tell you got this. You're born with your ancestors. This is the reason why you got this disease and that disease, because of your ancestors. Well, who you think caused that? And where we getting that information from? You getting that from another culture that, well, just like Dr. Bay said, 70 years ago, you weren't even allowed to integrate with. But now all of a sudden, we've been sold a bag of goods. Oh yeah, own a house. What are you talking about? How is it our generation supposedly is better off, but they don't have more land ownership? They don't even have more business ownership. So you guys were born in the United States. You were born in the same system your ancestors were born 60, 70, 80 years ago. It's the United States, right? Right. But somehow you don't have more businesses. Somehow you don't have more properties. Why? Because the system isn't set up for you for that. And the system is not the same system that our ancestors went through. Why? Because you don't want to admit our ancestors were separate but equal. They were separate but equal. So My only challenge with Dr. Bay, or not even challenge, but the question to throw out to Dr. Bay is, a lot of people ask, all right, Dr. Bay, you know, you want to sit here and tell me this stuff, Dr. Bay, about, you know, our people and how are they gonna, what you trying to say? We all gotta just turn to business ownership tomorrow? Well, we're not saying that you just have to turn to business ownership tomorrow. What we are saying is that you are going to have to put yourself in a position where, like the Dr. Babe mentioned here, you got to unify with things that you love. That's it. And sometimes Dr. Babe say, "Oh yeah, people don't know the right thing to unify with or whatever." Nah, that's true. That's not true. Y'all know what it is. It be gut wrenching sometimes because y'all in the system and y'all know the system, and it's like, man, I'm in the system, but if I pivot, it's gonna hurt. It's gonna be emotionally hard. That's what it is. But we were talking to a cub earlier today. Sometimes in life, you're gonna do things you don't like to do, but you're gonna do it because you know it's the right thing to do. So it's no question, oh man, trust Christian in the vault, man. Do I gotta unify with our people no matter what? Do I gotta forgive them 70 times 7? Do I gotta have some compassion for our people and help our people out? Try to help our people stay together? Ladies and gentlemen, yes. This is like one of the trust Christians like passion buttons, because when we think about the statistics, when we think about the numbers say that the black race has lost the land. Now y'all want to sit here and come on, trust Christian, you know they stole the land. Of course we know. We know that, ladies and gentlemen. We know trustees come through trustee training. They living in cities. Some of y'all don't even know about stuff like this. We know trustees that's living in cities, Louisiana, literally the state of Louisiana. We're not pointing out no indictment towards Louisiana. Louisiana, even in some of the backwoods southern states. Oh, trust Christian, the lawyer and the judge and the people that run the county, they're all the same people. Exactly. Y'all living in some backwood place, these all the same people. And then you wondering why your land got stole from you. But are you going to learn what you need to learn to get it back? Some people would say, "Oh, trust Christian is not possible." Hey, that's on you. We might hear that. Trust Christian, you don't understand. Trust Christian, they stole the land from us. They burned things down. Ladies and gentlemen, we are in agreement with that. But it's like a wealthy person. Anytime you lose the wealth, you always know how to build it back because you built it the first time. Now, some of y'all might try to act like, "Oh man, I don't know this old guy on the line, Dr. Bay. He just be sounding old." First of all, Dr. Bay, because he's the real deal, actually knew Martin Luther King. Now here we go. This is how we're going to trick you, Dr. Bay. So, Dr. Bay, when you talked to Martin Luther King on your birthday, what type of phone did you talk to him on?
Regular, what we call a house phone.
Okay, so it was a landline.
Yes.
Okay,
So
okay. Yeah, of course. We gotta hear the
back
truth.
then,
We trying to trick you to find out if you gonna lie to us and say you talked to him on a cell phone.
back then there were no cell phones.
Right. So you talked to him on a landline. So just for all y'all that want to know, oh man, trust Christian, he really knew Martin Luther King and he talked to him on the phone. Exactly. See, y'all don't want to know when you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. It doesn't matter if you don't agree with someone. Dr. Bay didn't agree with Dr. Martin Luther King at all. We know this. But at the end of the day, Dr. Bay was able to still build the bridge and have that connection there because guess what? By showing love, eventually eventually Dr. Martin Luther King came around and understood, oh man, this is business. It's not personal. This is business. It's not religious. I'm not supposed to mix church and state. Somehow I'm over here trying to mix my religious thoughts with the state. Next thing you know, I'm getting sprayed down because of my religious beliefs in the public, which the church and the state don't mix. So I'm going to try another route. Next thing you know, this brother, It's reported that he got assassinated. Why would Martin Luther King get assassinated if he was helping them out by integrating us into the culture? Because, just like Dr. Bay said, he made a phone call. And that phone call was probably recorded and tapped. And it was, Dr. Bay, I led my people into a burning house. Next thing you know, you hear a speech come out. Oh, I led my people into a burning house. Exactly. And are we suffering the effects as our ancestors, our modern day family, us ourselves? Are we at the mercy of that? Look, sure, it's definitely the case. There's no doubt about it. I know that might be hard for people to hear, ladies and gentlemen. Oh man, Trust Christian, is that true? Ladies and gentlemen, why are y'all so mystified by why the land is gone? Oh man, I don't know how the land disappeared. Or all you gonna do is, or you gonna play the blame game. Well, man, the Caucasians, man, they hid all the information. Caucasians, man, they stole it too. You just gonna keep blaming people instead of understanding the environment we're in. We're in a capitalist environment. We're in a free market society environment. And so, yes, estate sales happen. Yes, people get their estate sold off because their family doesn't know how to come behind them and manage it. That's how. They had an estate. Yep, it was set up in a family estate. I got a family estate. Yeah, you got a family estate. But you wanted to be the beneficiary. Y'all want to go there? Y'all wanted to be the beneficiaries instead of focusing on contributing, instead of focusing on developing your skills. Y'all don't want to know. Yeah, oh man, Trust Christian, am I going to have to take risk and take risk? Yeah, but you don't want to know that though. You want to play it safe. Because if you don't want to play it safe, then you already know what time it is. They want to play y'all out here talking about we live in a democracy. How we live in a democracy? Do you even know what that truly means? Do we live in a democracy, Dr. Bay? In the United States? Are you there? Well, Dr. Bay may have fell off. Either way, we don't live in a democracy, ladies and gentlemen. You live in a republic. And that's what's being hidden from you every single day. You've been hidden from the free market. Because whether y'all know it or not, some people say, oh, is the market manipulated? To a degree. But it's only because people are taking advantage of the fact that others don't want to learn, that others aren't going to step up and be a trustee. So, by that being the case, some people have stepped up and tried to act like they trustees of your family estate. They stepped up, oh, I'm going to be the estate holder now. What are you talking about? That's what happened. How many of us are aware of that? Some of us are like, oh, I'm going to put together, Trust Christian, I'm going to try to put together a trust. I'm going to put together a trust for this, for this trust stuff. I'm going to put together a trust. Are we talking generational wealth? How many people are talking generational wealth and trusteeship? Or they just talking about I'm putting in a trust, or I'm building generational wealth. But are you a trustee, not a beneficiary? Appreciate everybody for tuning in live, listening to replay. Always appreciate everybody that tunes in live, listening to replay. Feel free to reach out, Christian at trustchristian.com. Feel free to reach out, Christian at trustchristian.com. Appreciate everybody for tuning in live, listening to replay. Feel free to reach out. Peace and